see that coming. I know I predicted Izzy to win. I know you predicted Izzy to win, but I didn't think it was going to be that, like, the word I would use to describe it is surgical. It was like...
It was a no-hitter.
It was.
Like, it was like, oh, who's going to win Game 7? Oh, it was a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
It was wild. I was shocked. One, I was a little shocked at how, like, I wasn't shocked at Izzy because we've seen Izzy be great already.
Right.
I was a little shocked at how bad Costa looked. Like, Costa looked a little timid. I don't know what that was. It looked like he was doing, like, the things he was accusing Yoel of doing in Izzy and Yoel fight, he wasn't doing to that extent. But there was a little bit of, like, hesitation. He was standing there and he was, like, you know, he wasn't attacking like we saw him do every other fight. So, I know he had an injury apparently. I know that he had a tough weight cut, but nobody expected that.
Yeah.
Did you expect that?
Yeah. I thought Costa was going to be a little more game than that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to put so much blame on Costa, though. I feel like a lot of people in these situations are quick to jump on the blame train rather than, like, giving one guy credit. Because if you look at it, he did real similar to what Romero did. Izzy called him out in the middle of the fight, like, Romero! And Izzy stops moving and just goes, Romero! And he just... Yeah.
I didn't see that. I didn't hear that. He said Romero.
Yeah. Did you buy the pay-per-view?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, watch it back. He goes Romero, and they both stand still for a second, and he goes Romero and starts going this.
Oh, wow.
And because Izzy was like, you're doing it. Like, you're doing exactly what you said, you know? Right. So it's like, all right, he did exactly what Yoel did, but he got finished. You know, so it's like...
Well, Yoel did that, and you saw exactly why in the first round when he landed that ginormous...
Right. He at least was like... You saw that he was setting traps with it at least, whereas Costa was like...
And he caught him with a trap, but then it didn't actually finish him, but it left that one solitary bump in the post-fight photo shoot. The one bump on Izzy's face was from the one punch, which is crazy, but yeah... You're right. He got finished doing a similar style that Yoel did.
So it's like so hypocritical because right after that fight, like he's making meme videos. Like, did you see the video that he posted on his YouTube? Israel posted it on his Instagram after. I hate talking like this. Like on this media platform, like it's so weird nowadays. Yeah. But Paulo Costa posted like a scripted sparring match with a guy who looked like Israel Adesanya.
Oh, you mean the guy running away?
Yes. Yes. And the guy like is running and sprinting and jumping out of the cage and runs away from him, and he has to like chase the guy down outside of the cage to beat him up. And so he was just like really playing up the fact that Israel ran, and that's what he was saying after the Yoel Romero fight, is how Izzy just ran from Yoel, and that's why it was a boring fight. And it's like, look, bro, you just did worse than what Yoel did, and Izzy sparked you. So
at least
it's
Yoel
like
landed a really good
right.
punch that
at least Yoel took him the distance. Yoel made it a boring fight.
Right.
You know, like at least Yoel made it a boring fight. You know,
and Yoel had those sprinkled in flurries that didn't go anywhere.
Right.
Whereas Paulo had nothing. He was shut down.
Right. Like didn't land a single punch on Izzy's face.
Right.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Didn't punch Israel Adesanya in the face.
I mean, that's impressive for Izzy.
For sure. And that's why I like to say you can't go to the blame train when you have a guy like Izzy who just fought Paulo Costa, a volume freak, the highest output in UFC history, higher than Colby Covington, because his fights are so short most of the time, and he throws such crazy flurries in such short amount of times. He has a higher statistical output than Colby Covington, and he did not punch Israel Adesanya in the face one time.
Yeah, that like at this point, Izzy, if there was any doubt, the only person left to possibly end that will be John Jones, because Costa was the prototypical challenger for
even then, the John Jones fight is like Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Because John's like the GOAT. You know, so if he doesn't beat John, it's like, all right, well, chances are John's going to go up to heavyweight and find his match that he loses in eventually one day, maybe.
Right.
So it's like, you know, it's just
But you never lose the allure. Even if John loses at heavyweight, yeah, you don't get to take away his undefeated status, but he's still the light heavyweight GOAT because he left the division.
That's what I'm saying. Izzy isn't really like it's his match against John Jones isn't like legacy defining. You know, it's
Izzy.
Money in the Bank. Yeah,
Agreed.
For Izzy, it's Money in the Bank.
Depends on what he wants his legacy to be. Like, does he want to be the undisputed greatest of all time? Then yes,
Definitely.
which it seems like he does. But in terms of his division and as a champion, he doesn't even have to fight John.
You could still. There's guys who've taken losses and still been in that pound for pound great conversation. And if you go out of your weight class and take a loss to John Jones, depending how he loses too. Like if he goes in there with John Jones and gets knocked out on the feet real bad early, you know, it's like it wouldn't look good. But
I'm so tempted to do a whole episode just predicting that fight.
Yeah,
but we're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But I am so.
I
tempted.
pray that we are doing that in 2021 sometime.
Can you imagine?
Because
that's it. Jared Cannonier. Who else? You gonna fight Darren Till?
yeah, you know the
Okay.
Darren Till fight's there. You know you let it marinate. It's been marinating. So Darren Till is 2 wins away. He beats Hermanson and then gets another win. There you go. You have another big Izzy show at middleweight, and
you can do what Conor did, where he fights Nate at a catch weight, a different division, and then still has a foot in the division. And Izzy could do that. He doesn't have to like go through the division completely because he's gone through the division. In my opinion, the only person left is Jared Cannonier, and he's gone through the division. Other challengers are always going to spring up, but when you think about the guys who were there,
he has made the climb and beaten all the big guys at the top.
The only one left is Cannonier
and then anybody else, who springs up to that level.
When you think of a guy cleaning out a division, or like what he was saying, staying and being champion in a division, it really, in my opinion, only applies to the guys who were worthy when you became champion.
Yeah.
Not 5 years after. Like the one contender. You don't have to fight
that's
that guy.
That's the argument, though. That's what makes GSP so great is that he went through 3 eras.
That's wild.
You know, like GSP was in the Matt Hughes era, then the GSP era, and then the Robbie Lawler, Jimi Hendrix era. Oof. He beat the champions of all those eras.
Oof.
That's why GSP is like, he didn't just go on this crazy hot streak. He beat every single era of his division, like obviously they've moved on to like the Woodley era, now the Usman era, but in those first 3 like staple, like he just took on waves, it was like something impressive to that, like not only having one dominant run as a champion, but GSP kind of had multiple runs through just fresh batches of challengers, which is something that is crazy to be able, because it's different. When you're somebody who gets to train in the shadows and be looking at this one guy who's the champion and you're working your way to him in the shadows and he has no idea what you're doing, it's easy to surprise that champ once you get there. But when you're the champ who's having to prepare for all these guys who are just coming out of the woodworks to challenge you, who've been watching you fight for 10 years and you've never seen them one time, it's like it's a totally different game at that point, So GSP was like fighting all these newcomers that were just coming out of the woodworks, whereas like Izzy got to handpick and he like got his manifestation stage right. Like Conor, he got that manifestation stage. He called the shots on all the big guys and beat him on his way to the top. But then it's another thing when you can now have a reign, as like a king.
Yeah, Conor didn't have a reign.
No.
In any division. The only reign he had was being Conor.
Conor's just reached the highest highs,
right.
Like Conor. But then at the same time, he reaches the lowest lows. What other fighters get basically politicked out of fighting for 2 years on end and have all these legal troubles and stuff? Conor's fight path has just as low lows as it does high highs. Yeah. And it's like...
Can we talk a little bit about, speaking of low lows,
yeah.
I felt like Israel... Israel went low at the end of that fight.
To say the least.
See, you and I had a little bit of a talk about this via text where I was like, man, I think that was uncalled for. You made a good point that Paulo and his team were really trashing Izzy all camp, or all the way leading up to this fight. And, Paulo probably deserves some of that. But how much does he deserve? Like, I feel like there is winning loudly, which I'm okay with. Conor did it. I'm going to apologize to absolutely nobody. But is there a point where winning loudly becomes like wrong to do, or are there things you could do in winning loudly that you shouldn't do?
So, I think it depends on the circumstances. I just want to put one anomaly aside real quick because we can't put this in with everything else. Khabib and Conor is something completely different. That was like a gang war, like that's something else. So we're not including that in the sore loser category. Right. But another recent one that this is going to be very similar and make a lot of sense. You take Jorge Masvidal versus Ben Askren.
Okay.
And the way Jorge Masvidal got that fight Ben Askren got that fight was just completely belittling Masvidal, calling him an idiot, saying he can't read or whatever, saying all this stuff.
Yeah.
And Paulo Costa, basically the same thing he did to Izzy. Paulo Costa
just insulted him.
He built his whole championship campaign around insulting the champion.
Okay.
So it's like when your entire shtick is around taking somebody down, you can't be upset when they then mock you. Like when Masvidal hits Ben Askren with this flying knee, and then he does goes stiff and lands next to Ben, and does the ref counting him out. You can't be so mad at that mockery. You can just, if you watch it as a sports fan and you see it just the sport, but when you see all the build up to it, it makes it a little different because the fight game, they make these fighters build it up. It's like they make these fighters get emotionally invested. It's not like sports where it's like, oh, you beat them even though you guys had a rivalry, let it be. Don't be a bad sport. It's like, no. The company is built around creating emotional hostility between these two almost,
Right.
So it's tough to just be like, all right, screw that guy who is a bad winner, It does suck to see that. It's not what the sport should necessarily be built around and what it's about, because it's like, I get it's in jest and whatnot, but you could have made a mockery of him verbally, and that would have been a little more tasteful than something that his kids have to see.
Right. Yeah,
whereas if you say something where it's like, all right, whatever, words are words, but when you visually do something like that, where now his kids might have to go to school and see memes of their dad getting humped after he got knocked out,
That's bad.
Not good, you know.
And here's the thing, right? I didn't even like what Jorge did, and I'm a big Jorge fan. I didn't even like that. I felt when people say, "Wow, that was savage," I take that to be literal.
Yeah.
That's something savages do, lesser humans. No disrespect to anybody who does that. I just feel like I'm okay with swag, man. I'm okay with bragging after you lose and winning.
Yeah, I'm cool with the breakdancing and the this and the that.
Or even the talking like Conor's. I apologize for nothing. It's poor sportsmanship, but it's not degrading, and it's not punitive. There's something about it that is a little more. I don't know. I'm not gonna say classy because none of it's classy. There's something about it that is more showmanship, and it's more braggadocious verbally and not really physically consequential. At the end of the day, like that kind of act that Izzy does, not only does it look poorly, obviously for anybody who is friends or family of Costa, but it look poorly for Izzy? I mean, do you want your kids or your future family members seeing
and especially when you just knocked the guy out. It's not like he just submitted him and he tapped to a rear naked and then he humped him. It's like you just knocked the guy out. You shouldn't be pelvic thrusting a guy who you just knocked out and maybe concussed when you dropped him. It's like
he was probably emotional. I mean,
for sure, and you can't project all of this hindsight onto that situation when it's so emotionally charged and he does do something like that,
it's clear Costa upset him enough to be ready and willing to do all, because it wasn't just that, it was also to his team. That I didn't like more. I actually disliked that more.
See, I don't know though, because I think when a coach comes at you, now all bets are off.
You think so?
When a coach comes at an opposing team's player, then all bets are off. You can say whatever you want to that coach. In terms of me just as being in the fight game, that's all bets are off. You go talk down to another student, no.
Okay.
If you're a coach taking shots down at athletes, it's no, that's...
Look, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not necessarily, I don't think that, I disagree with it. I feel like if you win in that dominant fashion, it speaks for itself.
Yeah,
you know, it
definitely in poor
itself.
taste. I think we can both agree on it's in poor taste. I think, I might be able to justify it a little more, it seems, but I think we can both agree in poor taste. If I'm in that situation, I do not do that. I wouldn't be carrying myself like Izzy in a lot of ways,
Sure.
but to each their own. And at the end of the day, too, it's kind of just par for the course at this point with the way the UFC has become such a spectacle. It's like you can't be mad when these fighters do WWE type stuff in victory and in defeat and build up, like promotionally, like when all these lines are blurred and now you have all these guys trying to figure out how to prove themselves in this fight game. It's like, if you don't give them any parameters, there's not going to be any. So now we can't say that was wrong or this was wrong. And Dana said something the other day, not about this specific situation, but I think it can kind of relate. In regards to Colby's comments on the smoke signals, the Kamaru Usman, the racist or culturally insensitive comments he made. It's like, all right, that guy. Well, what Dana said, somebody asked him, when you hear somebody say something like that you think is racist, yada, 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 do you ever think about censoring a guy or punishing him for that or, pulling him aside? And he's like, look, we offer the platform of like total freedom of speech here. We're not going to restrict what anybody says because then where do you draw the line? And I do like that about Dana is he kind of has created this safe space for fighters where they can express themselves freely, where a lot of these sports you can kind of tell sometimes like, dang, he's just not saying how he feels right now because he knows he'll get punished if he does.
Right.
So it's like, it is cool that he has preserved the rawness and the realness of the fight game, but it is kind of painful when you see guys doing all this scripted stuff, but then also this disrespectful stuff that is bringing kind of a cloud over an awesome moment, like the Khabib-Conor fight. After Khabib just dominates one of the greatest fighters of all time, we can't even like sit here and think about that and watch him get a belt put on him with his family and stuff like after he won the biggest MMA fight of all time. No, a war breaks out.
Now that's looking at the time, I was disturbed by that. Is that Chloe?
No, that's my phone.
At the time, no, because I told her to text you. She didn't. At the time, I thought it was bad. I was like, oh my goodness, how could Khabib do this?
Yeah.
But looking back, like,
it's a movie.
It's beautiful.
It's a movie,
because
yeah.
Looking back, it was almost like poetic justice.
Yeah, it really is like a war.
You came at us. Now I'm gonna hop out of this cage and come at you guys. And
Yeah.
see who. And to me, stuff like that happens every day, everywhere. So
nature.
Just because
that happens in nature,
right?
know?
That's just two teams going at it.
Yeah.
At first, it felt like a little more scarier because you're like, you see them in the cage hitting Conor, and you're like, oh my gosh, are they like gonna kill this guy right now? Like you're like, what's happening? But because like no, like there's like I didn't know how many of those people were really belonged to the UFC or were all on Khabib's team, and like where's Conor's team?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're down there with Khabib underneath him.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, damn, like, what are we about to see right now? We're about to see some, like, serious assault. But then when it all stopped, you're like, oh, that was just, like, a brawl between, like, just two rivals, It was like, that was more sportsmanship than it was anything. It was just, like, smash in the cage, smash out the cage. Whereas Izzy's was a little more, like, just vulgar.
Yeah.
Maybe the vulgarity of it I wasn't a fan of. I was just like, ugh.
Right, because Khabib doesn't have anything to be ashamed of punching Dylan Danis in the face after all the stuff he said. Because when his kids are like, Dad, why'd you do that? He could go, well, son, and then...
Just open Twitter.
Yeah, show him what Conor and they said. Like, why did you stop Artem Lobov in the hallway? He could pull up the interview of Artem Lobov calling him every name in the book. It's like, and it's like, all right, now... It makes sense, but like Izzy, it's like, all right, Dad, why'd you do that? And it's like, oh, because he said I was skinny and said I was all hype.
Yeah, right.
And said I run.
He said I wasn't the best.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, this is all more like a little ego games, whereas like
entirely ego.
It wasn't real. You know, there wasn't anything real there. That was all like
That's a good point.
Immature, like spectacle stuff. But at the same time, it's like it did put on a show. You know, so it's like whatever.
Clearly, Costa's words and actions bothered Izzy.
And now here it is getting priceless airtime,
right?
Being preached to the disciples,
to the millions.
Like, yeah, this is
to the millions. Yeah. Look, let's move on to the next topic, which is Hamza. No, I'm just kidding. I wish we could talk about Hamza. Apparently, he's going to fight in December.
Yeah, Wonder Boy turned down the fight.
Ali says, Khabib said that Ali said
oh, God.
that Hamza has an opponent in the top 10 in December.
In December. That's a while away, though.
For any other fighter, we wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
It's 2 months. But for Hamza, we're like, he just fought last week.
Yeah, we're like 2 months till his next fight? An 8-week camp? What is that?
Yeah, it's like this guy does not need camps.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But here's the thing, though. You saw his tweet, though, about Izzy?
Yeah.
He wants to smash Izzy.
It's premature.
Premature. Throw him at him. Just do it. Just do it. Just throw him at John. And throw him at John.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I was correct about Jan. I was right about Jan.
You were right. The Polish power prevailed.
And he was dominant. I didn't even think he was going to be that dominant, but he looked good.
Yeah, Dom never got started.
No.
Never was able to get his game going.
He looked different than in the John fight. He just looked a little bit off. Maybe he just had an off night.
See, I didn't see it as that because, like, his movement looked good. The way I seen the way he moved and, like, ripped off an uppercut and stuff. I was like, okay, he's moving, you know, like, he's there.
He looked so good against John.
John is a slow fighter, though, and people who respect his power a lot and play slow and tactical, that's perfect for him. But a guy like Jan, who's just a big, imposing bully who doesn't care about your power, Dom's game just isn't built for that, really. He's a counter striker, but he's not Izzy, you know, like.
And Jan wants so much money right now because you saw him try to drag DC out of retirement.
Oh God! But DC
literally said, "No chance, bro. Enjoy your championship."
But DC started it. DC started it on his show with Ariel.
But what did he say?
He said
before the fight.
He said, "Oh, if they offered me that fight, I would." He's like, "If I was like." This was before I quit or something. He just said that if that fight would have been offered to him, he would take that no problem. He looks at that as an easy fight, basically. So he basically just still looked at it, like he put himself in the fight game a little bit still. Like the competitor came out of him a little bit when him and Ariel were talking about light heavyweight. So he just kind of stepped into the conversation as a competitor a bit and stepped over the line and was like,
"Can't do that.
You can't do that in his new role." So then when Jan called him out, he had to immediately just submit to Jan in the Twitter altercation.
It's so easy to say I could beat that guy when you don't have to actually back it up.
Right.
It's not fair. You shouldn't do that. If you are retired,
and just if you want to be a commentator now, you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that.
Right.
If you're one of these post-fight analysts who are still a fighter, sure, shoot your shot and argue with the guy at the post-fight table at the presser. But, you know, if you're DC on your DC and Helwani show, you can't be saying, I beat that guy. Like, that's belittling a fighter. You know, like any other journalist couldn't say that. So if you want to be a journalist, you can't say that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just bias now. Because then what if he's commentating a fight? You can't be saying you'll beat these guys, you know, like...
DC is one of those people that like everybody comments on how great he is at on the mic, and he's good on the mic, but he's really sloppy too.
Yeah, he's sloppy.
The thing about DC,
people like him because he feels real and genuine. The reactions we get out of him, people love his reactions.
Yeah, he's your average guy, but that doesn't mean he's excellent at his job.
Right.
Like Dominic Cruz is good on the microphone.
Yeah.
And sometimes he says some things that you're like,
Yeah.
But for the most part, good. Paul Felder's great on the microphone, in my opinion. I like Paul Felder.
He's just not as technically knowledgeable as a lot of these guys.
Correct. And the best of all of them on the microphone, we would have to admit, would be who? Michael Bisping Are we doing a British thing?
I like Joe Rogan,
Dan Hardy,
Michael
I mean
Bisping.
former fighters, not just on the mic, because on the mic, John Anik.
Yeah. Anik is great at what he does.
Former fighters commentating. Who's the best? Who's the best former fighter commentator?
I'd have to say Dan Hardy, maybe. Dan Hardy, Dom
The
Cruz.
most technical.
Dan Hardy, Dom Cruz. I do like DC. I'm not gonna lie. I do like the DC and Joe vibe. I like when they're together. But at the end of the day, it does get a little like lax, which some cards I like it for. Like if it's not the greatest card, you want that more entertaining commentary crew. But if it's like a real high level fight, you want those Dominic Cruz's voice in there.
Who do you want commentating Khabib Gaethje?
I would love to have a Dominic Cruz on that panel. Dominic Cruz. Yeah, Dom, Joe, and Anik would be who I want on that.
What about Hamzat?
Oh, no, it's on Fight Island, so we're not getting Joe on that one for sure.
But maybe we can get Hamzat.
Hamzat commentating?
Yes.
That right there.
Because he's just going to be like,
brother.
I don't understand.
Brother, I don't get this. I don't get why this guy do this, brother. Right here, I smash this guy. He on bottom right here, brother. No, I get on top, I smash guy. I don't get this, brother. This guy is worst fighter I ever see, brother. I smash both these guys. Next fight, get these guys out of here. Yeah, we can't have Hamzat commentating.
Smash both of them. Easy, brother. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a guy that you would like to have read you to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Very. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Motherly embrace. Yeah. He has that Hamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's talk about the recent beefs. There's two beefs going on right now. One is fascinating. One is the most people think that I don't know what people think I'm gonna say as far as the MMA beef, but Dana and Connor are beefing. That's like watching your parents split up. That's like what can you compare that to? Is that like Vince and Shane McMahon beefing back in WWE? Like what is it comparable to? Because you always viewed those two as being cahoots.
It's like Brady and Belichick.
Oh wow, that's a perfect one.
Like those last couple years where you could tell they didn't like each other, but they were still winning rings, so it was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where we're at. They're still making money, so it's like, fuck it, but they're done with each other.
Each of them thinks they're the reason.
Yeah, they're both
big money.
They're both just like you could tell they like each other behind it all, with it all the politics removed. I think they do genuinely like each other and will have a good relationship, later on. But just Dana and Connor are so like, I'm the reason this is all happening type people, and not in the best way, So it's like, it gets shit done, no doubt. That mentality gets shit done. But when you just have two of those people that are so extreme, it's like, yeah, it breeds confrontation. But at the end of the day, when they do agree on things, amazing stuff pops off. Like,
look out.
Yeah, so.
But I look, I have a little bit of like Connor fatigue right now. Because I believe that he would have gone on a season if there was no COVID. I really do. He looked to be in a totally different headspace.
Yeah.
But I don't like him coming out and talking about all the things he would have done and all the things he was going to do and the reasons why he hasn't fought. Like, I am more concerned if he's going to say things to just tell me when we are going to see him again. Or when he thinks we're going to see him again. Give us something to hope in. Something to say, okay, it's not going to happen in 2020, but he thinks early in 2021, okay, I have something to look forward to. Then give me the rundown about all the things that the UFC did wrong. I need a date. I need you to give me clear instructions as to where am I supposed to be?
I think that's his frustration, though, is
what am I supposed to buy?
He's been trying to get that date across, but the UFC is not allowing it. But at the end of the day, it's like, who do you believe in this situation?
I don't know, because both of them say it with certainty, but I'm inclined to not believe Connor.
Both of them are known for lying, too.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is Dana known for lying, or is
Yeah.
Dana known for not saying the whole truth? Because I think Dana's not a liar. What he is he says all the truthful parts that make him look good, but just doesn't say all the other stuff. So he'll say it because he's so confident.
I think that's what we have going on from both sides, though. I don't think necessarily either one's lying right now, but I think they're both just putting out what makes them look good. So it's like the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
They're fighting for leverage, though, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Because right now they just don't want a Conor fight because they can't sell tickets and whatnot, and it's like.
Well, they said that they offered Dustin and Conor a fight. That's what Dana said.
Yeah, but that's post-beef. Dana just said that post-beef.
He said that after Conor and Dustin.
Dustin already set the stage.
So that was a little chess move by Conor that now...
But here's what has me thinking. How real is all this and how coordinated is it all? Because Dustin just pulled out of his fight with beef from the UFC, and now Conor's beefing with the UFC. So now we have both of these guys beefing with the UFC to just build a fight together. So did Conor, was he sitting there trying to find his next opponent and then ring up Dustin? Say, hey, bud, you trying to do this in December in Dublin? And he said, oh, yeah, I didn't want to fight Tony Ferguson anyways. Who the hell wants to fight that guy? Sure, let's do it, buddy. 3 times more money and I don't have to fight El Kukui?
Right.
See you there.
See you there. That's good. Yeah, I think that's probably how it went. But it's not going to happen. I don't believe anything anymore. Or if someone puts out a poster, someone puts out eye emojis, I don't believe anything. I believe nothing.
Total skeptic.
Honestly, I don't believe Conor is going to put on a charity event with just him.
Oh, no way. No way.
But are we going to get it in the UFC?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I believe. But
yeah.
How long will we have to wait? Are they going to just give in and
I think we might get to expedite the process a little bit because Dustin is actually a worthy opponent that makes sense that we could get the ball rolling on right now. He was about to be fighting on October 24th.
Oh my gosh. And if Conor wins, he gets Khabib again.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, you try and match them up, probably not on October 24th. I'm sure you don't put Conor and Khabib on the same card if they're not fighting each other. That just... No. It steals all the other storylines and just creates this terrible environment for everyone to exist
on an island in a same hotel.
Yeah,
no, don't do that.
You do not bring Conor and Khabib to an island and trap them in the same building. No. So we don't do that. What I think we have happen, though, is we get to see Khabib takes time off in between fights. He's at that stage. So I think what we see is Dustin and Conor in like December on the big end of year card. And then, maybe the big summer card next year, we get Conor Khabib.
That's if Khabib gets past Justin.
That is a big if.
Which we aren't going to talk about yet because it's the 24th, so we have some time.
Yeah, we can't.
Wait a minute. Will that be our Halloween episode?
That'll be... Halloween is the next week.
Halloween's on a Saturday. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28.
Yeah.
So then...
But the next weekend... The Wednesday after the Khabib fight will be the Halloween episode. So it's the week before the Halloween episode.
What day is Halloween on? That's what I'm curious about.
The 31st.
No, I know that.
October 24th is my birthday.
I'm saying, what day does the 31st fall on?
It's got to be a Saturday because Halloween's exactly a week after my birthday.
Oh, perfect.
So Khabib will fight on Saturday. So we'll have
after the pay-per-view.
The post-fight episode, yeah.
So, okay. So the post-fight episode after the pay-per-view is going to be the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
And, I mean, dude, I'm not saying that, Khabib should not be the favorite or that he's not going to win, but if you had to handpick an opponent to beat him, it would be Justin or Hamza.
Yeah.
But Justin, if you had to handpick an opponent, Justin, right? He can go all the way to the deep water. You've never seen him break unless he's gotten beat up.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Really?
I really think Conor might be it. I think Justin's either going to be a real good test for him or Justin's going to get squashed.
So it's either that, test or get squashed.
Yeah.
You're not... So what if I told you that I was...
Was Poirier not just as big of a challenge as Dustin?
But
Poirier beat Justin. I know that's MMA math, but
dang it.
they were both decently.
Yeah, but Poirier was broken in that fight. He gave up in that fight.
Yeah.
You could tell. He gave up. He gave up his neck.
But what'd Poirier do to Dustin?
Yeah, but that's a different fighter now. He's a whole different fighter.
Yeah.
I mean, but how different is he?
Right.
Really?
Like, different in what way? Like, different to beat Khabib?
Different.
Khabib's
different.
not bringing, like, what Dustin brings. So, you can't do MMA math on that. You can't you have to let them fight their fight.
Khabib is a bear. It's just not the same kind of fight.
And I think Conor has, like, this elusiveness to him and this, like, one-punch knockout potential that nobody else possesses in that weight class. Like, whereas
Justin has it, though.
No. Justin's not cracking dudes and dropping them dead one shot.
Well, he did it to James Vick.
Yeah, he has done it. But he's not known for, like, that sniper one-punch knockout. He's known for his leg kicks and his durability.
His volume, too.
Yeah, and his ability to endure and just be a dog. But
he's not going to get into a dog fight with Khabib. Because Khabib's going to try to wrestle him.
Right, but like his number 2 instinct, if he can't get the leg kick game going, his number 2 instinct is to be a dog. So it's like, if leg kicks don't work, you got to go try and be a dog against Khabib. Good luck being a dog against a bear, brother.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that it's not necessarily that if Khabib were trying to be a dog that he would beat Justin, but Khabib's not ever trying to be a dog. He's a whole other animal.
Right.
Like, he's literally
a bear.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you could have all these dog fights, that's great, and this one might get the better of that one, but not be able to beat that one. Like, you could do dog fight math, but
none
then
of them can beat
none of them are beating a bear on any day, on any, like, no, this guy, that, like, no. This thing's just different than them. And so far, that's what Khabib's actions have said he is, you know? So it's like, until somebody derails that, it's hard to say. We're never seeing a Hamzat. Hamzat still needs like another year to be to that level where he's getting those fights. And GSP Khabib?
GSP Hamzat.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's going to happen. Because here's the thing, right? Hamzat's going to fight in December. We're doing a Hamzat episode again.
Yeah.
We love this guy. We should replace Rogan with Hamzat.
Yeah, and Conor and Anderson. And that. We
can actually do this.
We could just, like...
We should tape
a Hamzat poster here, one Hamzat poster here, and then, like, one more Hamzat poster right there.
And then maybe
I was thinking, like, a banner-style Hamzat poster right here.
Yeah.
Underneath these Hamzat posters.
Right.
But I don't know.
Maybe we could do like a backdrop, like a Hamzat backdrop.
Or like the fat head.
Yeah.
Or just a lip shot. Yeah. Hamzat's lips.
But just over the posters.
Oh god.
I want to be Hamzat for Halloween.
Yeah, I hope Hamzat isn't listening, which I know he is, because you can't avoid this platform. No, it's in your face everywhere you look. Disciples of Combat.
Everywhere you look.
You can't.
Well, Disciples are everywhere, and Combat is everywhere.
Right.
So transitive property would suggest that our podcast is wildly popular.
Yes.
It's just I think people are watching it on MySpace. So
that's where the views are.
Let's talk about another beef.
Okay.
Which is developing fast. And I have some tweets to read. So this is gonna get a little bit dark.
Okay. Got some holy water.
Oh my gosh. More tweets. Okay. So, John Jones and Israel Adesanya are going... like Ariel, Adesanya. Are going at it. John Jones said in a tweet yesterday, I'm curious to hear what his father, speaking of Israel Adesanya's father, tells him when he asks about fighting me. I wonder if his father believes he's ready. Eugene definitely doesn't. Eugene referring to his trainer. Israel Adesanya responds with, I'm paraphrasing here. Actually, I'm not going to paraphrase. I'm going to just look it up. Israel Adesanya responds with, if it'll ever... Did he... Oh, yeah. My pops already told me how I beat you. Trust me, he knows. Your mom would be disappointed in who you've become. Now, John Jones' mother died in 2017. So, a little bit of a low blow from Israel Adesanya. John Jones has responded. He says, sitting with tens of millions of dollars, children on fire about Jesus Christ, one of the greatest martial artists in world history. Sure, my mom is disappointed. Laugh emoji. Why are you mad, bro? My mother was an amazing humanitarian. I know for a fact that the CARE Project makes her more proud than anything I've done in the UFC. Izzy, thanks for giving me the opportunity to highlight my amazing mother this afternoon. Now I'm just missing her. Are we still on for 2021? Will you fight me at any weight? You said, right? I called BS. I'm waiting for you. Next tweet, the world is waiting. Oh, bad.
Yeah, that really makes it interesting. Because at the end of the day, we have these two who are just, now they're getting into that, it's not there to Conor Khabib, but they're getting into that vocabulary where they're going into each other's families. They're starting to really pull the strings here with how far they're willing to go. But what we have is one guy who's like, let's do it, and the other guy's like, okay, in 2 years. Okay, 1 more year. Okay. So it's like, we have John who's like, all right, bro. Like, let's do it. But Izzy's, John seems to be the instigator here. But yeah, it's tough.
So Adesanya responded.
Oh.
He put a white girl's video up, and it says, John Jones with the burn. Ouch. Listen, Krispy Kreme, it's still 2020. 2021 soon come. You'll get this work. Not satisfactory. Not satisfactory.
Not the greatest.
John won that.
John won that.
He doesn't win a whole lot of Twitter battles.
No.
He's an old soul.
Yeah.
But he 100% won that.
Yeah.
And right now, John looks like a guy who Izzy is afraid to fight. I know that sounds absurd, but let's be honest. John looks like the optics of this are Izzy doesn't think he's ready to fight John. That might not be it. It's probably just Izzy wanting to pave the way and let the stars align. But the way it looks is like a guy says, fight me, and you're saying, no, let's wait. You look bad.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Izzy, his thing is, oh no, it's not that. It's I'm not gonna let John force my hand. I'm gonna finish what I started at middleweight and then go there. Exactly. Which could have some truth to it. That could be the absolute truth.
It could be.
But
yes.
from the outside, it's still.
It looks weak.
Yeah, but why won't you fight him?
Right. And
Like-
John did that well. Where John said, "This guy doesn't even think he can beat me right now."
Yeah.
Like that's like John.
He's in his head.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's really just putting the ball in his court, and every time Izzy doesn't throw it back, John just throws another ball in his court, and is like, hey, bud, I'll play anytime you want. Anytime we can do this.
I can't help myself. How do you think that fight goes?
I have questions. What weight? What? When? It depends.
It's gonna be 205. It's not gonna be one. I mean, John's not cutting down, and Izzy's not going to heavyweight, so it's gonna be 205. It would probably be. It would probably be just an exhibit, like no belt on the line, right? Because I don't think John would go back to light heavyweight to win the belt and then fight Izzy.
Right.
And I don't think Izzy's gonna go up to win the belt. He can, but I don't think he will.
I don't know. I think he might. Does
that interest him, you think?
I think so. I think the apple of his eye at 185 has always been Till. He's always had a place in his heart for that Darren Till fight. So I think he's, has a couple things to do at 85 and then wants to go to 205. And it's like, all right, Jan and Reyes, those aren't impossible fights for him. It's not DC and John up there anymore.
No.
So it's like saying Israel.
He just fought a light heavyweight. Let's be real.
Right. He just fought Yoel and so it's like saying Izzy could go up and win the belt at 205 by 2021 isn't unrealistic. What if we get Izzy? He just said he's trying to fight before the end of the year. He wants to fight the winner of of
Cannonier
Whitaker in December. So,
but look, my only thing is Izzy's not going to risk losing the John fight by losing a fight with the champion at light heavyweight. You go fight John. That's what you do. If you've been setting this up, why would you? If you beat John, even if he doesn't have a belt, you're the greatest of all time.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think we see a John Jones versus Stipe announcement
Soon?
I don't know about soon.
What about Francis?
I don't know. What about Francis? He's working with Teddy Atlas.
Yeah.
Francis might go knock out Deontay Wilder.
No way. Are you serious?
I think Deontay Wilder. Hot take. I think Deontay Wilder loses again to Tyson Fury and then gets knocked out by Francis Ngannou.
What?
And then comes back and knocks out John Jones, greatest combat athlete of all time.
What? No chance.
No,
I think he could knock out Deontay Wilder. Who the heck says no?
Yeah,
Who
Deontay gets hit, so it's like...
Can Francis knock out Deontay Wilder? Yes, because Francis can knock out any living human being.
Francis could knock out a cow.
Yeah.
Francis just hit a cow with
in jeans and Timberlands, because that's how you come to that. Like, Deontay can knock anyone out. Francis is bigger than Deontay.
Yeah.
And can knock anyone out.
Yeah.
I think Francis can definitely win that. Because it's not even like a boxer versus MMA fighter. Deontay's not a boxer.
And Francis is a boxer.
Correct. Like, Deontay's the only boxer.
They're about just as much boxers.
Yes.
I mean, we have to put some respect on Deontay's name.
I'm not disrespecting Deontay, but I think anybody trying to be honest would admit that technically it's a wash. It's a wash. Both have similar styles, similar skills. Deontay's a very wild puncher, so is Francis. Deontay's not there looking super technical when he fights.
The only thing is he's seen the most technical fighters in front of him. Whereas Francis has never seen that level of striking in front of him.
Fair enough.
We've seen Francis exposing MMA fighters.
Okay.
Where it's like, we haven't seen Francis in a professional boxing.
Maybe Deontay looks like a really good boxer compared to Francis if they fight.
Right.
So yeah, right. I could see that. But I still think anybody who says Francis can't knock him out is insane.
For sure.
And this just further goes to show when you're talking about MMA and boxing, it's one-sided who can go where.
Yeah.
And boxing fans are a little pretentious. Boxing's been around longer. So when you're around a little longer, you have this big brother syndrome. So you think that you can just kind of, you kind of undermine what other people say. Like I saw someone one time say, I'd rather watch boxing rather than watch these amateurs trying to box. And I'm like, I don't think you know what you're watching. They're not just worried about hands. That's why they look different. If they did what boxers did, they would all die.
Right.
Like they can't just do that.
Right. One guy with a double leg and a head and arm choke would be world champion.
Yeah. like literally. So it just goes to show you that we can only talk about MMA fighters going into boxing and winning. There literally not one boxer, unless you're like Lomachenko, because I think he does some kicking. I think he did some sambo as a kid.
He grew up wrestling a little, yeah.
Maybe him, but even then you're like, how green are you in those areas? Like going against guys.
For sure.
Maybe that's it, right? There's really nobody else who you're like. Now you go to kickboxing, there's guys over there, but in boxing, you don't have anybody that you're like, oh yeah, they can come into the MMA, they can come into the UFC and compete.
They're just missing too many layers.
Yeah.
Their game is one layer. And
they had a couple years to train, maybe.
Right, but that's a totally different story now. Now it's like, give me a couple years to get experience. It's like, okay.
Right.
What? Let you... okay.
I'm also going to be getting experience.
Yeah.
I already know all this stuff. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, we have a real, you guys can tell how excited we are for the mega card we have this weekend.
What's the mega card?
Holly Holm versus what's her name? Idana.
I'll be watching that.
On the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
No, that'll be playing at my house.
I think it's gonna be on Spike. I feel bad because I really like Holly Holm.
Yeah.
But I'm not interested in this card.
No.
Am I a bad person?
I don't even know the undercard. I hope it does have, some good guys, first fights off Contender Series and stuff. I'm sure it's going to have... It's always these cards that you shit on that end up turning out to be like the banger of the year.
Yes.
It's like they have all the guys you haven't heard of yet. So not to say that these couldn't be some great fights, but yeah, not much to talk about going into it.
Jorgen De Castro, isn't that the guy? He's had a bunch of knockouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anybody. I'm a filthy casual. I mean, I know who that is. Well, I know Jermaine Durandame. She just had.
Yeah.
Who did she just fight?
She fought Amanda Nunes and looked decent.
Yeah, she's the one who looked good against Amanda.
Yeah, she took her the distance and.
Kyler Phillips, don't know who that is.
Kyler Phillips, he trains with Sean O'Malley.
Amazing hair.
Yeah, the
Daquan
Matrix.
Townsend, 21-11, going up against an undefeated Dusko Todorovich.
There it is.
I don't even think I said that.
You heard it here first, folks.
26 years old, undefeated. The tail of the tape, though, Daquan is 205 and Dusko is 185. What's happening there? What?
The undefeated kid is lighter?
Yeah. What's
Maybe
going
a little
on?
Hamzat thing. A little 2-weight class action. We got another Hamzat
shit,
on the
shit,
ride.
oh, shit.
What's his name?
I gotta learn another freaking name. Dusko Todorovich.
There you go, folks. Get on the hype train.
Let's check the prelim. Carlos Condit is fighting on the prelim.
Did you hear the fire?
What?
He called out Nick Diaz for a rematch.
What?
He wants to welcome Nick Diaz back to the UFC in a rematch.
Oh, Carlos Condit? I might have to watch it just to see him fight.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Court McGee, nice beard.
I'll be watching.
Let's see, anybody else? Anybody else that didn't know? I don't know I don't know who these people are, but I really wish them all luck. Is this a guy? No. I could have sworn that was a guy. I guess this fight, if he's grayed out, does that mean he pulled out?
Probably, or...
It doesn't say anything, though. It says it's still on. Anyway. All right. It's going to be fun.
That's it.
The Hurricanes don't play this weekend, so I'm going to have it on, probably.
All right. Well, what about the Heat?
They lost bad last night.
Yeah.
But it's okay because 2 of our best players are injured.
Okay.
We're definitely going to win this.
They're going to rest them.
Yeah, exactly. You want to listen. LA was preparing for our team at full strength. Are they going to be able to defeat our team at less strength?
Right.
It's a change.
It's a change of pace. It's a curveball after you've been seeing fastballs down the pipe.
It's a curveball that is going ball, but they're going to swing. So it's definitely a terrible pitch.
Yeah.
But you're going to get them. They're going to get greedy.
Right.
You're going to get greedy. And they're going to chase a high fastball or sinking. It's going to hit the dirt, but they want to get it so bad, they're going to miss. So what's today? Thursday. By this time next week, we'll be up 3-1. So that's my prediction.
That's easy money.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Money on the Heat all week.
And the Hurricanes are gonna go beat Clemson, so I'm gonna be on
You're gonna be up
wave.
big. You're putting
I'm
just
so
parlay
hyped.
it all.
I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
But good luck to all the fighters fighting. Do we have anything else?
I think it's time to fight corner roll.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fight corner roll. I almost forgot fight corner roll.
Wow. Blasphemy.
All right, I'm gonna give you the first go with these 3. We're gonna go with Dan Hooker, the Hangman.
Okay.
Michael Chandler.
Ooh.
Does he have a nickname yet? What's his nickname?
Mike.
Okay. And Raging Al Iaquinta.
Ooh.
Fight corner roll. Did you see this? Somebody on Instagram stole our thing. I don't know if they actually watched ever, but they had a fight, chill, train.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's a little suspicious.
Yeah, a little suspicious.
A little
suspicious.
Because if you are watching, you saw us say this.
I'll kill you.
Exactly. I smish.
All right, so yeah, we got some real scrappy 55ers here on our hands.
Big time.
Real scrappy. I'm gonna say Dan Hooker fights don't look fun. It's like you're gonna probably beat him, but it's like you're earning that paycheck.
It's gonna take something out of you.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably just like corner him, get the city kickboxing sauce for the week, get to see some striking tips. Raging Al, that's a fun fight. I feel like who's another one?
Michael Chandler.
Michael Chandler. I guess I'm gonna fight Michael Chandler. He's the number one contender right now. They're
just
like
hopped in and became number one. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Michael Chandler.
Okay.
Fight Chandler. I'm gonna corner Hooker, and I'm gonna roll with Raging Al. He trains up there with them Long Island boys, so they got some good grappling up there under Matt Serra.
Okay. A fight with none of these guys sounds fun.
Yeah, no.
But if I had to pick one guy to fight, man, it would have to be Raging Al, because of the three, he's the one who's going to make the most money, because he's had main event fights. Michael Chandler, I think the average UFC fan doesn't even know who that is. And Dan Hooker is the type of person that people are getting onto, but I don't think the casuals have caught up to Dan Hooker yet. I feel like they just consider him a solid fighter, but I don't think they really would hop on the train.
I feel like Raging Al's similar.
He is, but he's been more in the news cycle because he's either been called a real estate agent by Conor, or he was fighting Khabib.
Yeah.
He had that war with recently.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just sharing the stage with Khabib definitely puts him above anything that...
Just in terms of in the national consciousness. Not in terms of, he's a great fighter, so everybody respects him. Just because he's been on the spotlight more than either of those two other guys have, you just have to assume that he's had more interaction on social media.
Yeah.
In terms of role, I'd roll with Mike Chandler because he's a wrestler, like a really good wrestler, like trains Usman, like is always sparring with Usman, so I would love to lock horns with that person and see what that feels like. And then I guess you and I are going to Auckland. So we're going to corner the Hangman, and I don't know what the heck I'm going to do in Auckland, but...
I hear it's like Narnia down there. It's supposed to be like some crazy terrain and be
nice.
Beautiful. Yeah, so
I love that stuff.
Let's get it.
I love the books, Chronicles of Narnia. So
there you go.
All right, up next, and I'm going to go first. We have Big John McCarthy, Herb Dean, or Mike Beltran.
Oh.
Well, right away...
Beltran stash.
Right away, you have to fight Beltran. Because he is the scariest, so if you're gonna fight a referee, make it the scariest one so you don't look bad. Even though he's a martial artist.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Even though he's somebody who is a martial artist who could destroy me, you still don't want everybody to say, you picked on a referee. Nobody's gonna say that when you fight a guy that looks like that, so you don't look bad. I'm not cornering Herb Dean. No chance.
No way.
Because I just don't want to. I don't want to corner Herb Dean. So
what
I'm gonna
talk about all week.
Huh?
I feel like he eats Cheetos and ham sandwiches for lunch every day.
You don't? Yeah. He's not. I don't think he's interesting.
Nah.
So I'm gonna roll with Herb Dean. Apparently he's fought before.
He's
so
like 5-5.
Gotta have something. And then Big John would definitely be a fun week.
Yeah.
Cornering.
Oh yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So I'm cornering Big John McCarthy.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. I mean, unless you wanted to fight Big John because he's a name. But
he's the biggest name out of the three of them.
Herb Dean's up there. Yeah, that's the direction I'm going. I'm fighting Herb Dean.
All right.
Because he's the biggest name, and he's been in some hot water lately with his late stoppages and stuff. So I think I could be like hopping on this. What do they call it? Eat or something signaling. What do they? Virtue signaling. Yeah, I'm like virtue signaling, kind of like just fighting for the oppressed fighters who he just lets get beat after they're unconscious.
You're playing the disingenuous good guy.
Yeah, I'm like the social justice warrior.
Right, who doesn't actually care, but
I'm the fighter justice warrior.
Very good. Wow, good for you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna embrace that role, really play it up, have Dan Hardy in my corner and shit, just yelling profanities at. Yeah, I'm selling this thing. I'm selling this thing. We're going to the moon with this fight, and then that puts me. Yeah, we're always cornering people together.
Yeah.
I guess that we just gotta start a gym and start grooming world champions.
Yeah.
And Big John McCarthy is our first.
Perfect.
Because we are both in his corner.
Yes.
And then that puts me rolling with Beltran, which is gonna be weird. I heard he grapples and stuff, but that mustache. For you guys who don't know him by name, he's the UFC ref with the mustache or whatever that goes down to his feet.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just grab those things, spider lasso.
Yes.
Yes, and, that's perfect. Yeah, there you go.
You can't stop that.
No.
He can't play no gi. He always is wearing a gi on his face.
Yeah.
You can choke him with those things, especially when they're braided.
I just realized if you spider lassoed those, he would still have all his limbs free, which is an issue. But yeah, I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, but you can wrap his beard around his limbs. Because remember,
just hog tie him
all the way. Yeah, you don't even have to roll with him.
Hog tie his ass.
Get into side control and just start. Like a Sao Paulo pass. You just start. Wrap it over and over again, and then just roll him out of the gym.
There you go.
Problem solved.
Game plan.
All right.
Activated.
1, 2, 3. I guess that's it.
That's it.